What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content. And a shout out to our sponsor, Kalshi. Remember, head over to the Kalshi app and use promo code FANARCHFootball to get $10 when you trade 10. Let's talk about the Dolphins. This is a really exciting day for the Dolphins, I believe. We'll see. Chris Bell, the most enigma of our wide receivers, has been cleared to practice today. So if you were ahead on the news, you saw that he was at practice today. Now, he was in the red jersey, which means that he wasn't really being touched and he was doing individual drills. So at practice, but not exactly, he's not with the full team yet. But this is the first major step, right? Up to now, he's been doing his own thing. And we've gotten conflicting reports from Bobby Slowick and from Coach Halfley, like he's really far away. And also, we hope to get him back soon, but he's got a journey. Like they're using very vague language, I think intentionally, because they don't want people to think, oh, he's going to play like tomorrow. I've already told you, I don't think he's going to play until midway through the year. Now, I could be pessimistic in that opinion. Like maybe he'll play earlier than I think he is, but we'll see. He's not currently doing full team activities, and we're less than a month from the season starting. So I think I'm trending more in the right direction. I can see maybe a scenario where he's on the pup list for the first 4 weeks and he's eligible to come back for week 5. That makes sense. But the fact that he's even on the field at all, remember, he tore his ACL in November, right? So we're in August now. I've told y'all ACLs are a 9 to 12 month injury. So this is month 9. Like he really is right at the beginning of when he should be recovering for real. And if he's a fast healer, then maybe he like healed a month or so ago, and now he's trying to build his strength back into it. I think the biggest thing for him is going to be how confident is he in that knee. That's the biggest thing. If he's playing skittish and he's like not really pushing off of it and he's kind of like tentative, don't even come on the field. Don't need you. Don't do it. I mean, we need you, but like, don't need you now. We don't need you out there if you're not playing full out. His style of play does not lend itself to being timid. He's a physical big dude. He breaks tackles. He gets down the field. He's fast. Like we need the best of you, right? So if that's the case, then I prefer you stay on the sideline. I'm assuming that they have their own plan in place. I don't believe the plan is for them to play week 1. Let me just say that. So anyone who's like waving the flag, like, oh, he's gonna play in the third preseason game and then walk on the field. I just don't see a scenario where that's really the case. Even if he's like clear to play, I think they'll still do some level of conditioning for the first few weeks. And best case scenario, like week 3 or 4, but I think more realistically now, maybe week 5. But this is the first step to what so many fans have wanted to see. We just want to see him on the field. Caleb Douglas came in, kind of unheralded a little bit because the stats at Texas Tech weren't like crazy. The physicality was there, like the height and the speed was there. But we're like, we'll see how it translates. And then we had our first game, and there were some rookie lapses here and there, but then we saw spectacular. And so, oh, okay, right? Like we haven't seen Coleman yet, which we're hoping to see in week 2, I guess. That would be nice to see him on the field because he was showing flashes early and then he got injured. And so we're like, okay, we'll see. But Chris Bell is the one that people are like, hey, if he lives up to his billing, he will be wide receiver 1. And if 2 of these 3 receivers pop off, then the draft was a smash. You got 2 of your future receivers cheap for the next 4 years when the receiver market is exploding to a kind of scary level where I don't know what receiver is up next. I guess Justin Jefferson a year from now could re-extend, and he's going to, of course, want to top the market, so it'll be close to 45 million. Like Puka Nakua after this year will most likely get franchised, and then the year after that will get a contract. So maybe Puka in 2 years could be around that same number. But it's getting kind of ridiculous with these wide receiver numbers. So to have possibly 2 starter level receivers who are not really making money for years, it will be well on your way to building the offense you want to build. And having all 3 hit just seems like that's like pie in the sky, right? So if that happens, oh my goodness, like you had 3 receivers that are all rookies at the same time. Malik's still young and relatively cheap for a few years. Like that's we're cooking with gas. But Chris Bell's on the field. I look forward to seeing him like really involved in a practice. I don't think they want him doing any kind of contact drills for the time being, but when he does do that, we'll bring it up because that's a big deal. But Chris Bell's on the field. We're excited about it. Let's see how he recovers. I'm going to keep going with the young excitement. Kyle Lewis is somebody that I told y'all I was hyped to see for the first week, and he showed some flashes. He played really fast, which is good and also not so good because playing fast and not having control of kind of what you're doing is not exactly how you want to play. You're kind of playing out of control. But I'd rather somebody play fast and be wrong than play slow and be wrong. Slow, you're never going to be where I need you to be. You can be overly fast and maybe you can kind of run yourself out of a play and then maybe run yourself back into one. It's almost like, I don't know, people who are in the business world. Like you want to fail doing things. You want to fail sitting and thinking about doing things, right? He I'm intrigued with him because one, y'all know I love DBs, and part of his skill set is working with the safeties, which he did today. But up to now, he spent a lot of time with the linebackers. He's all over the place. He's effectively like a monster back who sometimes plays down low in the box. I love this because it it changes how we can do all of our defensive things. Like I think if they plan on using him the way one of my favorite safeties of all time, Bob Sanders, was used, where Bob was basically just perennially in the box, just laying the wood on people, but occasionally can go out and cover. My favorite safety of all time is Ed Reed. Ed Reed could come lay the wood, but Ed Reed was a ball missile. That ball hit the air and he tracked it, right? So those are my two probably favorite safeties ever, and they're different. They do different things, and I think if Kyle Lewis, I still think he's a little undersized to be doing linebacker realistically. Like if an offensive lineman gets to the second level, which their job is to do on some run plays, right? Engage with the D lineman, get off that, get to the second level, he's going to get eaten up. Like, he's just not big enough to deal with offensive linemen. Honestly, most linebackers aren't big enough to deal with offensive linemen. He's just undersized, right? His whole thing will be he would have to outspeed the offensive lineman to the point of attack, which is why I don't mind him playing fast because if he's going to be playing linebacker and they're trying to get up on you, if you see the angle they're coming from and you're fast enough, you can kind of cut through it. They're not moving in zigzaggy motions. They're 350 pounds. They're here and then they're coming directly at you. So if you can like cut off their angle and get inside of them before they have a chance to get up to you, then in the ideal world, I guess you'll be meeting the running back in the box. Like you'll be meeting them in the hole, and that would be like the place to make the tackle. If you wait too late and they get their hands on you, then they're gonna dog walk you into the stands. It's gonna be a bad situation. But at safety, you can line up at safety and then just come down in the box and also make plays. So I don't think he will probably be lined up as a traditional linebacker that often. It just feels like that's not really where he should be. And maybe if he's an outside linebacker that kind of is doing blitz type things, there that could be an option. But I think he's a piece that you can just kind of do what you want with. Like people are so high on Caleb Downs. Y'all know going to the draft that I wasn't where everybody else was. I already see the Kalshi odds on him being defensive rookie of the year. They're high. If you want to make a trade, he's going to be there for you. I am just not there because I think being a new safety in the league now it's easier to take you out of the game, right? Like he's especially when you're not like an elite cover safety. If you're like a good tackling safety, then yeah, you're gonna make a lot of tackles, but I don't know if that makes you like defensive rookie of the year. Regardless, I think Kyle Lewis can be really special if he trusts what he sees. If you remember what we were talking about, um, Chop last year, and Chop was saying one of the things he worked on this past off season was seeing the play, trusting his eyes, and then making the play. What happened last year, a lot of times, is he didn't know where the play was, and he wasn't playing fast or aggressive. And as a result, guys would get up to him, and he would just get washed out of the play. And he had a relatively ineffective season because he didn't really know what he was doing. He didn't know what he was saying. He didn't know where he should be. I think Kyle is he just plays kind of all out already. And if he can play all out because he recognizes what's happening, then he'll get to the point of attack faster than a lot of people and he'll make a lot of plays. So at this point, I guess it's more about his overall recognition of what offenses are doing, which is film, coaching, all that stuff. But if he keeps going on that road, I see no reason why he won't be just a really strong piece in the secondary. Like he's got ball skills, he got box skills, he can play in space, he can play in zone. I'm high on him, frankly. Higher than most. So I hope he doesn't let me down and he goes out there and keeps improving because the skill is there. Um, just he needs a little bit of seasoning. A little bit of seasoning. Thank you. Before the season even kicks off, everyone's making predictions. Who wins the division? Who makes the playoffs? Who's lifting the trophy at season's end? On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. So I'm going to open the Kalshi app and pull up some NFL props to look at. And I'm going to go with, oh, this could be fun. Worst record. Oof. So right now, the Dolphins have a 23% probability to have the worst record, which means if you made a $100 bet on the Dolphins, you would win $413. Now, we obviously on this channel do not want the Dolphins to have the worst record, but for those of you who I guess want to bet against the team, now may be a good time to do so. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the app today and use promo code FANARCHFOOTBALL to get $10 when you trade $10. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything. I mentioned we have multiple receivers there we're trying to vet right now to see how good they're going to be, and I stand by all of that. I also think that we need another veteran receiver in the room. Sorry. Y'all know I'm a Jalen Tolbert person. I stand by it. I think he can be better than people think he can be. I'm curious to see how he does against one DBs, but that remains to be seen. But we have all these young receivers. I very much believe in like the tutelage model in the NFL where you have the veteran backup quarterback, which we don't have right now. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow. The veteran running back in the room. I guess at this point, Devon is the veteran running back in the room, and that's, I guess, good and bad because he's like 24 and he's the oldest guy in the room. But as a wide receiver, I think the biggest advantage you can generate is separation. Like your height, weight, all that, those are extra things. So if you're tall, but like weak and lanky, then people can muscle you. If you're like really buff, but you're slow footed, then maybe you can't. Like, I think there's a lot of ways to be a great receiver. Most receivers that are great are somewhere between 6 feet and 6'3". There's not like the top receivers that are, 6'5" and above or smaller, right? That's why Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the league, even though they're taller receivers than him, but there's something about how they run their routes at that height. Like the Megatron and, Randy Moss's, those are anomalies, right? T.O. was 6'2". Like he looked giant, but he was a 6'2" receiver. Jared Rice is in about the same mold. Like there's something about that frame. Tim Brown, like keep going. I think Keenan Allen is a receiver I've always loved because he never made sense to me. I don't understand how Keenan Allen has gotten open his whole career. I couldn't tell you. He's always open. I've watched him my whole life, and I'm like, all right, he's kind of big and he's kind of fast and he's kind of quick, but what he is incredibly effective at getting open, even when you know what route he's going to run. There's a cleverness, seasoning is a good way. There's a veteranness to his quality, to his game that a lot of other great receivers I don't think had to develop. Right? If you're just tall and faster than everybody, then okay, just be tall and fast. If you're like a super quick Hunter Renfro, Lab McConkey, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman type, then the quickness of your feet is kind of what your thing is. Keenan Allen he just made plays, man. He just got open. He knew how to shield receivers. He knew how to catch the ball. He knew when to let it come to his body. He does all the little things that make a really good receiver really good. To me, he's in the Hall of Very Good. He will not be a Hall of Famer, but he's like a step below what a Mike Evans is, right? But I think their effectiveness on the field has at various times been very comparable. Mike Evans' longevity has been tremendous, and that's part of why he'll get into the Hall of Fame. But Keenan Allen doesn't have a home right now. And if we're trying to groom 3 young receivers, which we are trying to do, I think having a vet in the room who is not the most elite talent in the world, who got it, you can kind of say out the mud. Like Cal's not known for their receivers. It's him and Deshaun Jackson. what other top receivers that they had in the last 20 years. They probably had a couple, so Cal people hit me up. But those are the two that come to mind immediately. But they're not wide receiver U. USC was that for a long time. Alabama was that for a long time. LSU, don't get me started. Ohio State has been that for the last like 7 years. But he just produces. And I think there's probably little subtleties he does with his shoulders, little things he does to engage the DB without getting a PI, the way he swims his body. I think having him in a room with all of our young receivers would only make them better because they're learning from right now, the number receiver on our team has been a number 3 receiver his whole career. And that's no disrespect. It's just you're teaching me how to build my career and do my job, and you've never done it at the level that I'm trying to get to. Right? Keenan Allen's been all pro, pro bowler. He's been, 10 touchdowns in the season. He's been all these things. And now he's an elder statesman. Like he won't probably play the minutes he wants to play. But I think his impact on the rooks can be tremendous. I don't know if he's even trying to play. I think he's probably still holding out for the Chargers to try to go back there, especially with this offense and Herbert and Coach McDaniel and all that. But if he's not going there, if they're moving on for real, I think Miami should very much be in the sweepstakes. And let's just consider it. Jalen Wright. So I don't know where we are here. Because I've mentioned from last year to this year what I think our running game should look like, what I think we should be as an offense, what I think we should prioritize. And my concern is that as that gets more and more fortified, I feel like I'm hearing and seeing less and less of Jalen Wright. Now, I don't know if that is because he's not playing well. I don't know if that means he's out of favor with the coaching staff. I don't know if I don't know what it is. I know that he came into last year super confident, and he's coming into this year confident, right? Got his weight where he wants to get to, talked about his goals, talked about where he thinks he ranks in the league, and I consistently don't see enough splash from Jalen. I think he can do the job. Let me say that. But I think he's like a 4-yard a carry running back. And I think 4.5 yards is like the yards per carry that I want from a running back. Minimum 5, really good. Anything above 5, well, right? So Devon is always a 5. That's kind of his thing. But a lot of running backs in the league are about 4. And that's not a knock. That just means you're a NFL running back. Somewhere between 4 and 4.5 yards a carry. That's that 15 carries, 50-something yards, or 60-something yards. Let's say 62 yards. 15 carries, 62 yards, 2 catches, 15 yards. That's if you want to do that's like Chris Rodriguez. That's just nothing special. That's Isaiah Pacheco would put up stats like that, where like he'll have one run of like 7 yards and a bunch of like 3 and 4 yard runs throughout the game. And it's like, all right, he's really good on 3rd and 3. He might break a tackle, get a couple extra yards here or there, but you don't get that. You don't get that oomph. And that's what I'm looking for from Jalen. And I haven't gotten it. And I don't know if that just isn't in the cards or if he maybe hasn't gotten the best deal from the team so far. It's something I'm keeping an eye on because I very much believe that if Ali does his job, I believe Jalen will get traded. Let me say that because I think the team just is a better investment to invest in Ali. But if Ali keeps cutting up, then you're kind of forcing our hand because do we go back in the draft and get another running back? And, possibly running backs seem to be plentiful year over year. But I think they could probably get some trade value back for him. But I don't know how you get trade value back for him if you don't play him and let him showcase what he can do. So it's in a weird pocket where maybe you don't want to play him excessively to not get him hurt. But if you don't play him, how do people know his value? Is he just, he's a 3rd-round pick as a running back? We're going to try to pick him up for a 6th-round pick, and teams feel like they got a 3-round value? I don't know. But I'm looking at this because y'all know I've been very pro Ali on this whole thing. But I do want to see Jalen play well. He's on the team currently. Like, if we don't trade him, then he's on the team. I haven't seen enough splash from Jalen. I've seen, like, last year when he got 24 carries, like, it was a very 4 to 4.5 yard per game. But he did it. I mean, he was a workhorse, but I didn't see even in that game splash. I want to see a little bit more splash because Devon is like he's swimming. He's always splashing around. And then Ali gives you splash and then he messes up. But Jalen is consistently kind of average. And maybe that's what you want for a backup running back, maybe. But I just want to see a little bit more. But as always, y'all, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes and the subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily.